I saw him sitting at the beginning of the church pews, close to the front. I looked at him. He was a visitor. Most visitors sit near the back of the church, not at the very front of the pews. And then I noticed when he was singing with all his heart, but he had the hymnal right up by his eyes. And I didn't recognize him. My name is Don Jehle. I was the pastor of the Jellicoe Seventh-day Adventist Church at this time. And what happened was I asked someone, who is that visitor? And someone said, oh, you need to contact the Mableys. The Mableys said, oh, his name is Ronnie Collins. Ronnie Collins lives in LaFollette, where the Mableys were living at the time. They gave him a ride to Jellicoe. It was quite a distance from LaFollette, Tennessee to Jellicoe, Tennessee, over on the other side of the mountain. When I found out about Ronnie, I went to visit him later in his place, and Ronnie began to tell me his story. He was legally blind. He could not see. He had to hold things up close, but he loved the Lord, and that's why he wanted to sit at the front of the sanctuary so he could actually see what was happening. I spoke with Ronnie, and he said, we really need to have a church in LaFollette. I said, Ronnie, I'd love to have a church in LaFollette, but we don't have very many members, many Adventists that live here. And in fact, it's you and the Mableys, and that's about it. And he said, oh, but there's also Brother Green. And I went with Ronnie to see Brother Green, and they both shared their dream to have a Seventh-day Adventist church in LaFollette, Tennessee. I said, it sounds wonderful. LaFollette is the county seat. It's a bigger community than Jellicoe is, but we only have a few members living here. How can we have a church with just a few members? Well, Ronnie continued to ride with the Mableys to Jellicoe to go to church. But then one day, the Mableys needed to leave the community. They were going to help another ministry in another community. And at that point, Ronnie did not have transportation. He didn't have a way to make it to Jellicoe. He didn't drive because he was legally blind. And so I felt horrible for my church member who was unable to attend church, loved the Lord, wanted to be there, but could not go. And so at that point, I went to the Jellicoe church board and I said, we need to see if we can try to plant a church in LaFollette, Tennessee. The board was very supportive, began to commit financial resources, to have Bible study interest cards mailed out, to do other things to kind of support the LaFollette church. And here we are today, where we have a beautiful church and a wonderful congregation meeting in LaFollette, Tennessee as a result. Many years later, I ended up working at the conference office for Georgia-Cumberland Conference in the Trust Services Department. And while I was there, one day, Nicole Toledo came to me and she said, Ronnie Collins passed away and left a gift for the LaFollette church. Well, that didn't surprise me because Ronnie loved the church, and that was his dream that was being fulfilled. And so at his passing, he wanted to make sure that his dream continued to thrive. You know, there may be some of you that also have a dream, a dream of a church growing in your community, or maybe you have an existing church, but you want your church to do very, very well before Jesus comes, and you too would like to give an offering, give a gift, a special gift at your passing to support the church even after you're gone. If so, I want to encourage you to contact the Trust Services Department of the Georgia-Cumberland Conference, and they can make sure that your dream can be fulfilled by giving to wherever you want it to go at your passing. God bless you as you consider this special gift.